It's been a while since we've seen that one. Oh man. Hello, welcome back to the stream. Excuse me. I don't even remember what music that plays when it's starting. But my Ecamm, which is the program I use to stream with, updated today, and I happened to see that sitting there, and I was like, I haven't used that in a while. Maybe we'll give that a try today. So, anyways, how are you all doing? Welcome back. I was not here last week. It was a very, very busy family week last week. We hosted an event at somebody else's house, but we had to do everything. So yeah, there was like all the stress in that. And Lou and I made our first balloon arch. If you've ever made a balloon arch, oh my goodness. We were like, this will be the first and last. Well, until the next time we have to, get conned into doing something for somebody. Anyhow, it was a whole big thing. I bought a pump to blow up the balloons. It didn't work. And Lou proceeded to blow up about 150 balloons for me as I was putting them in the little, I don't know if you've ever done one. It's a pain in the neck. But yeah, so bless him. Because he blew up that's love, friends. That's love. Oh, so anyway, this week we are doing a spooky cemetery. We're doing ghosts. I'm going to show you how I paint transparent ghosts. And I did, if you saw the video that I just put out on Tuesday, if you watched all the way to the end, you got to see the little spooky scene that I created, and I did a ghost in that painting, and that was a lot of fun. I don't even know where that is. Usually, my most current one is sitting right here for you guys to see it. I don't even know where I put it. I'm just looking all around at all the things, and there's lots of things around. It's a wreck in here. I have got to clean this studio so bad, but I don't even see where I put it to share it with you. It's really cute. Well, hopefully those of you who are here watching, sorry, have probably seen it. I've shared it on Instagram and stuff like that. And if you follow me on Instagram, you are seeing that I am actually keeping up with Inktober this year. I've never done it. At least I've never done it all the way through. So I have been posting pictures, and I was behind, and I got caught up, and yeah, I've been posting that every day over on Instagram. So if you follow me there, I posted today's about an hour ago. The asthma's been flaring, but what else is new? It'll calm down. I just ran downstairs and I was like, I need clean water. Of course, I can't wait for the day. One of these days when I'm YouTube famous and all the money's rolling in, yes, I'm having a studio built that has a sink in it. So I don't have to run downstairs and then I'm out of breath before a stream. But anyways, welcome back, my friends. I apparently hear we're just talking about nothing right now, but we're going to get into the art, I promise. Hi to Tara and Joseph. Thank you. All good on your sides. Hello to Rob up in the air if you are already up there hearing me. I know you're tuning in from an airplane, so safe travels. What else is... I'm trying to think what else is brand new. Yes, a sink. Joseph's like, yes, a sink. Yes, it would be so great. Not have to chase water. I mean, it would be one thing if my house was single level, but my house is 3 stories. I could have had a bathroom right outside my studio if I wanted to go to the 3rd floor. But I can't breathe going to the 2nd floor. I'm not going to the 3rd floor. That's just guest rooms up there. Angela does not go up unless absolutely necessary. Getting rooms ready because people are coming. So yeah. Right now, that is just closed off because we tend to close it off in the winter time. And yes, I said winter time. And yes, it's already closed off because it's been getting cold. Who said he actually had ice on his windshield when he went to work a couple days ago. So winter's coming. But anyhow, I don't go up there unless I need to. And that's not often because there's actually a guest room like right across out that door, right across the hall. And I was going to take over both rooms for my studio. And then I thought, no, because then we have people stay. They have to go to the third floor. And I was like, how many people stay? And it's my house. I shouldn't care. Use my room. But no, I haven't. But anyway, so one day I want it on the first floor and I want to like blow out a wall, build out, and have a big studio downstairs. One day. These are my goals. Hi, Rob. Welcome back. Rob's up in the air. Oh, see, I just saw the badge. That reminded me. If you are a super fan, how do you become a super fan? You just click join right below the stream. If you're watching this on replay, you can click join right below. I have brand new emotes for you this week. So you can check those out. Also, the emotes work when you're commenting on a video or if you're in the live stream. Some of them are supposed to be animated. Are they going to animate? I'm not sure. I'm hoping you guys will give them a try during the stream and play with them and have some fun and see what they do. They don't animate that I've noticed during the, thank you, Tara. I would share them on the screen, but when I click in Ecamm, it's just going to say what the emotes are called. That's not going to show it. I wish it did. Yeah, Joseph says if I had my way, my studio would become the hall to my studio. Isn't that the truth? Wow. So I didn't see if the little Dracula and the moon should be like a witch flying in front of the moon. I don't know if you do one at a time, if it will animate when you first post it. I hope so. Yeah, Rob just shared Boo, but I didn't see that animate either. So if the animated ones are not going to work, I'm going to swap them out. And I'm going to be swapping them out throughout the rest of the month of October. So every week when you tune in to the live stream, there should be some new emotes for you to, enjoy and have fun with. And hello, Teresa. And if all goes well, knock on wood, if all goes well, and you guys really enjoy this, then I will see what I can do about continuing to update them weekly between now and let's all the way in through the holidays, going into Christmas, which is really only 2 months away. Yeah, see, it didn't animate. So that moon that Rob just did is supposed to have like a witch that flies in front of it. They're not animating. It lets you put them up there. And I can see them animate on my YouTube screen when I select them, but apparently it's not it's not showing for you guys. So other announcements. Oh, I am super excited. If you are a member or a patron, studio members, so members of the channel or Patreon, there's a studio membership. It's the same on both. And if you are a studio member, tomorrow we are doing the live studio hangout. There's Joseph. I made it so that Joseph could switch between his two, The Art of Joseph Fincham and Joseph, because he is a super fan on Joseph Fincham. So I had to make that one a moderator as well, so that he could use all the emotes also. Sorry. It will calm down, I promise. If it doesn't, I have my inhaler and I'll just use it. So anyhow, if you are a studio member, tomorrow is the live studio hangout. So it's not too late to get in on that. If you want to participate, all you have to do is click join below, select studio member, and you'll get all of the fun emotes, the badge for your name. And you will get access to the Discord server. Now, if you want to join our Discord, community memberships and higher, all get access to the Discord. But tomorrow, I am trying the Grumbacher paper for the first time, and it's not 100% cotton, but I got it to try it out. This is an 11 by 15. This is a big pad. And in here, I'm not showing you guys, no spoilers. I am working on the artwork that will be in my Halloween special. But if you are a studio member, then tomorrow you get to join me live in the studio on Zoom. You'll get the link. I think I've already posted it on Patreon. If anybody signs up on YouTube, I will make sure that I push a community post to you that gives you the link to jump in on the Zoom. You guys are going to get to see me do that. You're going to see all the behind the scenes of making my Halloween special. It's been a couple years since I did a Halloween special, and I shared one, the last one I did very recently in a community post. And I had so much fun with that. I was like, I need to do it again. So only this time, hopefully the lighting on creating the artwork will be much better because we have upgraded lots of things since a couple years ago. Oh my God, I cringed. But the effects and all of that stuff were so much fun. And then I was talking to Tara the other day and I looked for them and I cannot find where I put them. But remember our hats we did, Joseph? Joseph and I did a collaboration. And we created, like, I had the witch's hat and he did, oh my gosh, what did you call it? It was like an autumn hat for magical people. Anyways, I saw those and I was like, oh, I should do an updated version of that this year. But time is growing short in our month of October. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But today, let me bring in the desk. And this is not what we need. I was just working on... This is my Inktense, which I've been using my Inktense. This is the set number 1. Excuse me. With extra colors added. And I was just working on sticking these down because I'm tired of fighting them moving all around. So that's why that was on the desk. Okay. Working on the Academy watercolor block again today. I chose this one because I really want to do some layering up and see how it works out. Last time I used this paper and the Meeden 100% cotton paper, I was thrilled with them. So that's what we're using today. And I have already sketched out my artwork with my ghost, my cemetery. So if you guys saw the thumbnail before you clicked in, that is the image that I based this on. And I just need to, I got a line popping in. And can I just share? This is the larger pen eraser that's linked in the description below. I have used a bit of this eraser this month doing, excuse me, Inktober. I've used quite a bit. You see, it's like down to there now. And it was up here. But yeah, I've used a bit of this. I highly recommend these. I love this. The eraser is soft, but not too soft. It hasn't harmed my paper in any way. And I absolutely love it. Just wanted to share. If you are interested in an eraser like that, like, look at the difference in size. Now, this one I had shared, this was a smaller one. This one's really hard. I'm not so thrilled with it yet. Will I change my mind? I don't know. But right now, I am not so thrilled. I have my, like, all of my pens and stuff from doing Inktober. I just kind of take this upstairs and downstairs with me. The Tombow, this one is very similar in the way the Mono Zero works, like how that eraser is not real hard. I love the Mono Zero, but for larger areas, I am loving this eraser. So I shared them with you guys when I got them. I definitely recommend this one. So it is linked below. I got 2 package is still sitting here. So I got two. I got the gray and this is blue. It's looking kind of green on my monitor, but it's blue. And then it came with some refills. So, and the price was really good. It was not bad at all. So yeah, loving that. If you've seen my Inktober, you've seen me using some of these. These are not linked below, but if you guys are interested, I can. Yeah, similar. That is interesting, Rob. I wonder why that is. So these, look at you. Thanks, Rob. Since I cannot gift memberships from my iPhone, the super chat will have to do. Thank you so much, Rob. These are, they're made by Zig Kuretake. And these are the Wink of Stella Brush 2. I have a feeling you guys are going to be seeing me use these a lot when I start doing like winter and holiday Christmas type things, because these are awesome. I'll have to put a link to those for you guys. Okay. Enough chit-chatting. Let's get into the painting. Oh, hold on. I'm about to like knock stuff down. Just a second. Because if I knock this down, there's no way my short arms were going to be able to pull it back. Okay. I have a cord that is like going behind my brushes. I have a thing of brushes that sits off to my right. I got it from the Dollar Tree. It's like, it stacks, it holds the brushes. I stuck it on a little Lazy Susan. I can turn it. I put extra things. It's so handy to have on my desk. Unless, of course, the cord gets stuck, and then in which case, forget it. I've got my silver black velvet brush, so this is an 8 round. I'm probably going to use my 3/4 oval wash. And then, of course, I do have a couple of my Mimic brushes here. These are definitely listed below. I've been using this a lot. My 6 is still like, I've messed up the tip of that 6. It has like a, you see the hook right there? Boop. On this one. Yeah, I did that. I did that to one of my silver black velvets. I put it in not my paint puck. This is just like the paint puck, but it's from that, you know, everything's ridiculously cheap, made in China. I'm not even gonna promote it and talk about it here, but I tried that from there. I will just say it does the job, but it's no paint puck, but it does do the job. It's a lot flimsier. That said, I definitely prefer my paint pucks. But it let one of my brushes slide down. It was my fault. I didn't put it in a small enough one that grabs. So it slid down and the brush like touched on the bottom, and it bent and it dried that way. And it like damaged my bristles. So that was not cool. All right, what do I have today? I have got my Daniel Smith palette. I need to make this bigger. And actually, can I grab that? I probably need a pair. Oh, no, I got it. So see that? If you don't know, on these metal palettes, the little metal wire that's in here, slide it out. You can ditch this if you don't. I mean, obviously I do mix on it. The one that tips weirdly and has the little, I'm just taking it off because I can put it back on. I would just line up the little things and slide the metal thing back through it. I just want it off of here today so that I was hoping it would let you guys see my palette. I'll probably do some mixing. This is, let me see if I can back this up. Can we zoom out just a bit? Wonderful. I guess that's as far as I get. Well, I could get further, but my desk is a mess and there's lots of stuff around. So I'm mixing on my medium palette. I don't know if this one is linked below, but I love this little palette. I prefer to mix on ceramic. Sometimes you guys see me use just a plate. These, if you saw the video I shared last week, Tara said, oh no, what did I do? What was, oh no? Messing up my brush. Yes. All right, I caught up. Anyways, if you saw the video I did with the water media sketch box that I built, which I loved, I did a water media box and I chose Holbein gouache. So I did a gouache box and I already had the colors and I shared all this. I'm not going to share it all again. But my gouache, I put in here. So that may come into play today if I'm using any of the gouache. And I'm going to have these just kind of sitting here to the side. They used to fit in this little container. They don't anymore. I have too many now. Now I have 10 colors. But I'm loving them. I love my Daniel Smith gouache also, but I just want to really continue to use the Holbein and give it, more of a try. To see, it is possible I could like it better than Daniel Smith. You never know. You never know. Anyhow, so how am I going to start this? I am going to just erasing a couple lines that are still on here. I am not going to erase where the line is from my moon, because what you're going to see me do first is we are going to work watercolor. I am going to paint my background and I'm just going to go right over the trees, right over everything, because I do have a horizon line here. This is kind of going to be a little monochromatic. I mean, yeah, kind of. We're going to work with, I think, blues, and I'm probably going to need my glasses for a little bit. So, yeah, we're going with the granny stuff. And I just like recut my bangs, which are still very long, but now I have to get used to them like bugging me and being on my face again. Okay. So I have my horizon line, which I can now see. And I'm going to just paint the background. I am going to leave this area white. I'm going to do this wet and wet because I'm hoping it is going to give me a nice soft blend to the moon, where the moon's just kind of glowing out, and it's going to be pushed back into the background. So let's just dive in and 20 minutes of jabbering. Sorry guys, I'll have to put timestamps in so that if you're watching on the replay, it'll be like, jump to here to avoid all the announcements and hellos. Oh my gosh. And because we've just recently monetized the channel, no ads or anything like that. Well, YouTube can put ads on it. YouTube can put ads on anybody's video. We don't have control over that. We can choose whether we want to turn ads on ourselves once that, option is available. And, I've heard lots of channels with like mixed opinions about YouTube putting ads on their work before, their videos, before they are able to monetize their own channel. My personal take is YouTube lets me put videos out to this platform. They don't charge me storage fees. They don't charge me to, what is it, Vimeo? Try to use Vimeo as a platform to push videos out. They're going to charge you. YouTube doesn't charge me. So if the cost that I have to pay for them to let me be a brand new YouTube channel, not pay to use the platform, is them putting a video here or there on my, it's a business. They've got to make money from somewhere. And yeah, that's just my opinion. We're all entitled to them. Okay. So all I've done is wet my sky. You can see the difference there where I've wet. And the one spot, I think I'm going to start taping that down because that's the only thing, like it's buckled right there. You can see that little, boop. Bet you I can show it to you this way. See it buckled up? That's the only spot the paper buckles. Because it's open, that's where you would like put your tool in to take this off when it's done and it's all dry. I might have to start taping those down at just that edge, but that would mean I'd need to also tape off a border. I don't think it would matter if I taped off a border. Okay, so I am grabbing my ultramarine. It's going to be warm. I think I want it a little cooler. So I am grabbing my phthalo blue. I'm just going to mix it right in. No sense in wasting it. Okay. Bring my water a little closer to me. And I'm going to start at this side. I want this side to be darker. And actually, this is going to be way too bright. This is not a day sky. This is a night sky. My brush is in my way. And there we go. So let's throw a little, I'm going to throw a little lunar blue, and I need to refill this. It is getting low. Throw some lunar blue in there. Finally left the ground. Oh my gosh. You were able to use everything before you even took off? It's been a long time since I've been on a plane. So there's my lunar blue, and I think I'm going to pop just a bit of lunar black. I want to darken this up just a tiny bit. I want that night sky. There we go. All right. Hopefully that's enough. It rarely ever is. Oh my gosh, Joseph, that is horrible. I'm really trying not to laugh. I'm laughing with you. One day, I don't think you'll ever find it funny. I really don't. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are just going to right over, and hopefully I'll still see all of my drawing in. And I talk so much that I don't know. I need this to be nice and wet. I'm just going to make sure it's still wet. Because I want that glow, and I didn't, my brush was clean-ish, which is fine. I'm going to drop that in. I'm going right over everything that's here because everything that's here will have to get darker. So this is wet, and it's just going to kind of bleed into the area where the moon is going to be. I just want a nice, soft, subtle blending in. That is like seriously warped. It may very well be that I'm going to need to start taping that part down. I don't need a hill and a valley right there. My hair keeps touching my face, tickling me. It's probably going to start, it's probably just going to drive me crazy, and I'm going to regret that I did it in the first place. I think I sent Tara a picture, and I said, so I did a thing, and it was just a picture of like hair sitting in the sink. She sent me back, oh no, what did you do? And I was like, I don't think I got to answer her for a while. I just kind of left her. I was working that day and just kind of left her hanging there. It wasn't much. All right, hopefully as that dries, I am going to actually be able to see the stuff that I drew back there, which was just my trees, but I already had them laid in, and some tombstones that were down here. Yeah, no pets in the studio. I just have birds, so I would never have one of them like loose in here. And well, I can't have Blue loose in here because he don't like me. It's kind of a jerk. It's our budgie. I got him. He was supposed to be mine. He bonded with Lou. He was like, "No, you're not my human. You're my human." So I'm like, "Fine. Why don't you get your human to feed you?" So now he fusses at Lou. And then Tuca I could have in here. And I've thought about bringing her up here to show you guys, but I would like definitely have to have all right, I think that's going to be good. I would definitely have to have Lou on hand, like watching the stream, so that if I was like, "Come get her," he could like come pick her up and take her away, because she would be loud if she started going off. Like she talks sometimes, and sometimes I can talk to her and she'll talk back, and she'll say hello and okay and step up, and when she wants you to pick her up, she's just step up, step up, step up. That's all she does. She's on repeat. But if she got a wild feather across her backside, she starts screaming. And if any of you watch on earbuds, I'm afraid she'd blow your eardrums. And I don't have that magic microphone in this. I need to email Ecamm and be like, "You need to put noise canceling on our microphone and feed," because yeah. Anyhow, that would just not be cool. I'm gonna dry this. So again, being considerate of your ears, I'm gonna mute you for a second. It is not completely dry, but it is dry enough. And I was laughing at myself because when I turned to get my water, let me just come back here for a second. I said I usually put my artwork right here so you guys can see it. He's right here. And that camera is not showing him very well. I loved the way this guy came out. I loved that. I loved the background. I loved how the sky came to be. Let me come back here. That was him. So we're going for that here. I use the gouache. This may not be dark enough for the background. May need to darken it up a little. But yeah, so I was laughing at myself because it was sitting right there, which again, now you can't see on this shot. Okay. Next step, let it start painting in. I got to put in the ground here. Again, I'm going to keep moving from the furthest back to the front. And so the next section we have here. Actually, I have one here. So we're going to go with this here. I am going to need paper towel. All right. I'm going to take you full to the desk so that you'll be able to see better. The new round paper. So if you saw the sketch box that I built myself, which is it was a water media box. Mine, like I said, was the gouache box. I chose this. I've used this before. It is the Magni 1404. This is a Sketchbox exclusive. The Toscana. My shop on Sketchbox, because Sketchbox has made me an ambassador. I know I'm excited about that. I don't get the box monthly. Like, I've thought about it, but I love the build your own ones because then I know I'm never disappointed. I'm always going to love to use what comes in it. But I do have a shop over there, and it should be linked in the description below. If you go there, you can order this. You could just order this if you wanted to. You could get some of the gouache. You could whatever you want. But anyways, this is 100% cotton paper. I love these little rounds. So if you have something that and it's a block, it has the little, wherever the opening is. But anyways, you just put the little tool in and take it off. And I love this paper. I looked for this paper to see, like, if I got bigger sizes of it. How much is that going to cost me? After I stopped choking, I was like, well, I guess I'll just enjoy the circles that I get exclusively from Sketchbox. Yeah, so that is the answer to your question, Rob, the new round paper. I like it. It's a bit pricey. At least it is here. All right. I'm loving now. If you look, because I used the Lunar Blue and some of the Lunar Black, you see the granulation in that sky, like the darks and the lights, and I like it. I like it. It may end up, I may want to darken that up. I don't know. We're going to put trees in front of that and all kinds of stuff. And now I can hardly see. I am going to take you to the desk now, full screen, so you can see it better. I need to see it better. Like, I can't see where I had my little tombstones to the back. It's probably going to be a problem. I never want to draw too dark, especially if I'm planning on working with watercolors. Sorry, because they are so transparent. But, all right, grabbing my Silver Black Velvet size 8. I'm really thinking monochromatic. I want the ground back there to be just a tiny bit darker than my sky. So just a tiny bit. That is that Lunar Blue. A little bit of phthalo. Some of that and really, I guess it's kind of redundant because I'm pretty sure Lunar Blue is phthalo blue and Lunar Black mixed together. I'm just taking it, I'm like using the color and then mixing the color myself. So yeah, it's redundant. If you have Lunar Black and you have phthalo blue, you can make your own Lunar Blue. And I say Lunar Black for those of you who aren't in the world of Daniel Smith. That'd be like a Mars Black. It's PBK 11. So if you like the look of the color and you just think, oh, I might want to make my own, that's what it is. All right, hopefully that's going to be, I need to wet this first. So now I'm using my size 8. And I'm probably just going to avoid, it's not going to matter because this is going to be almost black. As it gets closer to the front. So it really doesn't matter. I'm just trying to preserve my lines so I'll be able to see it well to paint it later. Like I said, my clean-ish water. So it's like rolling hills. This is maybe that's the name of the cemetery. I don't know. There's just little rolling hills back here. Painting right over my tree. Again, just working from back to front. I know that some of this is like me touching the edge here and picking up some of that paint. It's fine. If this bleeds up into there just a bit, don't worry about that either. I should have got an image of this line art before I started painting it. I could have like shared it with you guys, but yeah, staying less saturated back there. That is going to be the plan. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to try to avoid some of the things that I'm still going to want to be able to see later. Here's one of my little ghosts. You're going to see how we start to paint those in. I went a little too high on that with my ground, but that's okay. We're just going to kind of follow it through. And now there's a hill there. It's fine. I have to paint right through where that ghost is going to be. And we're just going to keep working these layers, and we're going to keep going. I'm painting this stuff down wet into wet, but you guys are going to see, me dry. Normally when I go wet into wet, I want that wash to just kind of do its thing because, you know, I love watercolor. But one of the things you do when you dry it is, however, if you're watching your watercolors move and it gets to a point that you're just like, I like it right there. If you dry it, you're going to freeze it right there. You know, because you'll stop allowing it to move because now it's dry. That should hopefully make sense to everybody. I think that keeping it light like that is just going to help illuminate that back field because it's, you know, closer to the moon. We're going to keep getting darker as we come forward. So I need to dry this. We're going to get a color in here, and we're going to start to paint in some of those further tombstones. So one more time, I'm going to mute you guys. I will catch up on reading the chat while you are, or while you're watching paint dry. Okay, so now I am going to take a little bit of neutral tint. Make sure I saw quite a few colors in that little palette, so. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of this blue because I don't want this to be too dark yet. This is still way in the background. I want these to be much lighter. I'm going to mix in some of the blue that I'm using, you know, on my ground. And I probably have way too much water in my brush. And now that I cannot see them, I need to put in, I'm probably just going to be guessing and placing some. It's like all of the best of intentions, right? I'm just going to grab my, this is my Mimic size 6. It's wet, but you see I'm brushing that off. I just want to touch the bottoms of these because I don't want a hard line there. And yeah, I don't know where I had all of the tombstones. So you see when I paint this in, you definitely have, there's definitely a defined line at the bottom. But if I just kind of go left and right up to it, that's going to softly blend out. I'm laughing at Rob sitting on the plane with his noise canceling headphones, and whoever's sitting next to you is probably like, what is he watching? That's funny. All right, I have a bigger one here, and we're going to paint that in. I'm leaving a spot. I'm doing that on purpose. Right? I'm painting the round. If you've seen these in the cemetery, our family plot has a couple like this. They have like the round balls on top. Again, I don't want these to get darker. They're going to get darker as we come forward. Everything back there is getting pushed back, keeping it lighter. Once again, just taking my damp brush, kind of left and right, and that'll give that enough wetness that it'll just be a nice soft blend. Well, that's funny, Tara. And oh, also with this brush, you see I said I left that spot there. Just with the clean brush, I'm going to kind of work that around. And now it's much lighter, and I have a highlight from the moon. Okay. I need a few more back here. Like I said, I had them all beautifully spaced and drawn out. I don't know where they disappeared to. So I just got to kind of guess. Throw some in. I love that technique for softening them. Right, and this is an old cemetery. Some of these are like leaning. They're a little wonky. Yes, tomorrow's studio hangout. I cannot wait. You guys are going to get all the behind the scenes for what I'm doing for my Halloween special. You'll get to see me actually paint it. So it's not too late. That is, this month it is studio members and above. If you want to join us, all you got to do is click join below. Grab yourself a studio membership, and I will see you on Zoom tomorrow. It's funny, we tend to really fuss over some of our background stuff, don't we? And it's just going to get pushed into the background. I love that. Let me bring that closer to you guys. Do you see how soft the blending becomes when you just do that? And it's a damp brush. It is not a super wet brush. It's just a damp brush. I'll put another one here. I can see my lines. I had planned for there to be one here originally. So you see, you have that like, it's like a hard line, but if I come in and I just rub that brush, it's just going to give enough wetness at the base of that that color can like dissipate. And then there's no hard line. I don't need hard lines back there. I see I have a little ghost here, so I know that's coming. Oh, I should have rinse that out. I'm going to beside me with my number 6 round. I'm actually just a little bit darker. There we go. Back here, I have some trees at this stage. I'm not going to get too carried away with them. I can update these, or fix them, make them bigger, whatever I need to, because this tree is going to come in front of it. So I just want to know that there's some little ones back there. They're going to disappear. Once I put this, they're just so much in the background that we don't have to fuss over this very much right now. Can you guys even see what I'm doing there? I need to get a camera where you're coming at it from an angle. If that's something you'd like to see, drop me a comment. I can work on that. I mean, I do have like my phone. I use my phone sometimes because it automatically connects with my program. So if I want to like switch over to it, I can. Yeah, and these are just, I'm just throwing stuff in the background. Now I'm going to wet that. And we're just going to kind of wet the base and let them grow into the earth there. And by wet, it was just dampened. That's all. We'll put a little more color back there. Right? Because we'd have some shadow. There's trees. There we go. Good enough. Good enough. This is one of those ones that's like, as you get to the front, it's just going to start quickly. It's going to come together quick. And that's not what I was using. I just used my clean water to rinse that too. So you see, like, now this is just damp, and that's going to be all I need to fix the bases of my little tombstones. I'm using my Silver Black Velvet 8 round to do the little tombstones that are in the distance. And we're going to paint in our first ghost here in just a moment. The ghosts are so easy. I love the way the Silver Black Velvets hold their point. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody or heard of anybody else doing them like that. And I have to just give a shout out to Kat's Art Picks. I know she's not here today, but if you're watching on the replay, hi Cora. She was the inspiration for that, really, because she was like, oh, it would be so much fun if we could like do art together and hang out and like actually see what what everybody's doing, and that was definitely the inspiration for the live studio hangouts, because I thought, you know what, that would be fun. And when I say live studio hangouts, it's not like a live stream like we're doing right now. It is where you can connect. You don't need to have a special app. I put up the link for Zoom, if you have the Zoom app, it will open through that. But if you don't, it's not a big deal. Whether on your phone or a tablet or on the computer, you just click in, and when you first join, it is your microphone nor your camera are connected. You decide if you want them connected, and then you can click to turn them on. So you don't have to worry about, oh, if I log into this and I join, you know, my stuff's going to be out there. I think that's fine for the tombstones, for the background. That's enough. We don't want to overdo it. I have some bigger ones up here that are closer. And I may paint those in a little darker first, just so when I put the background, I don't lose where they are, because this is quickly going to start happening. So yeah, you choose to turn on the audio. You choose to turn on the video, but you're able to share the audio and video of what you're working on. And we can see what you're doing. You can see what I'm doing in the studio. It's so much fun. Sometimes we work on the same project. Like if I'm working on something, I will post it and share like a reference photo or something, and you have the option to do the same project. That happens sometimes. Sometimes we have like a theme, like November we'll be doing Christmas cards, because it's always the third Friday of every month, so you know when it's going to be happening. And yeah, we have a ton of fun, and you choose the level you interact. Like you can just text with everybody, you can share just audio if you want to talk like you're talking on a phone. You can share video if you are comfortable sharing video. I know when Rob and Tara and I are in it, we all sharing video, we're laughing, and we just have such a good time. So I definitely invite you to come and join us. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's put our ghosts in. So now this part of the background is definitely dry. The way that we do our ghost, I need to have my paper towel handy. This is white gouache. Again, I'm using my Holbein gouache. So, and I had said in that video too, like, oh, I will have to see how it reactivates, and I can tell you, it seems to be reactivating just fine. We're going to see in just a second. So, getting some of that white gouache. This is diluted, so it's going to be transparent. I am going to paint where I want to see my ghost. I have got way too much water on my brush. So you're going to see me kind of, I put it down, dab straight down, lift straight up. There was too much water, so it definitely, just too much water. Oh my gosh, we did, didn't we? One time, Rob says, sometimes we get a tour of the Emerald Isle. Yes, I think one time Tara had to go somewhere and took us with her. Safely, we might add, safely. The phone was just sitting there. We could see our way around. Okay, so there is our little ghost. Now he is away in the distance. I don't want him to be bright white. I may need to come back with, I'll just put that a little bit more. There we go. There's a little ghost just floating around back there. I don't know why. He's got like this little ethereal fog that kind of follows him. We got another one a little bit closer. We're going to pop him in right here. All right, so wet the area. Paint that in the, put the white gouache in. Now, normally, like I would just dab and lift, and it's white. I had a much darker background. Before. So, and he's like kind of behind the hill. He's like coming at us. He's behind this hill. He's down in the lower part. We're higher, and I'm just imagining that each time it kind of rolls down. Yes, you were driving on the wrong side of the road, but we won't go there. And I think we need another ghost back here. I think we're going to put one over here. These guys are just kind of, they're just kind of floating around, having a grand old time. There we go. We got another one there. And that one's a little bright. So just dab and lift. And I can do it again. Build up. But again, if it's too bright, I can just dab straight down and lift. There we go. Okay, so we've got him in. And how about one more little guy over? I know I'm going to have one here. Trying to look at where they are in the foreground. So I got one here, one over there, one here, one here. Of course, the big guy is up here. So maybe we don't need another. We'll wait till the end. We can always add one in if we want one. See, that spider is supposed to actually like drop down. The spider that Rob just used is supposed to drop down. And I already have some new ones for next week, so I cannot wait to add those. And you can get access to all those emotes just by being a super fan. If you click join below and join the channel as a super fan, you're going to get a badge next to your name like Tara and Rob have there in the chat. And you'll get access. You'll get the badge. You'll get the emotes. If you join as a community member, that is when you get access to the Discord. We have live chats every Friday, so you can join us for that. Those chats, sometimes it's always in the Discord. Sometimes I'll turn on my camera and just jump over in a voice channel and hang out that way. Sometimes I'm talking. And the other you, yes, I can't forget the other you. Joseph has his little palette next to his name as well. And for just $2.99, you can be a super fan. And it just supports the channel. And I have been having so much fun with the emotes. If you're on the Discord, which is community members and above, you get all the emotes. All the emotes that I create, you get them all over there. They don't rotate. Oh, I've got access to all of them. All right, I have to paint right through this guy because we need to see the background through him. He is transparent, so we can't forget we cannot paint around him. We can paint around other objects, but we can't paint around that. Okay, so now we're going to, I wet the whole background. I said I was going to paint these in first. I didn't. That's okay. We just need to make this a little bit darker now moving forward. So here's our blue. I'm going to grab a little bit more lunar black, darken it up. And there we go. So with just whatever I had on my palette, adding a little bit more of the lunar black. And then this should be a little bit darker than what we were before. And here I'm probably going to pull out a few highlights on the ground so that it's not so flat. That's really easy to do. It's funny because every time I realize I am not talking, I think of Joseph. And I'm like, paint louder. Inside of my head, I'm like, you need to paint louder here. You're not being loud enough. And I have to share, I looked back. Oh my gosh, guys, I looked back to like when I started streaming, and Starving Artist Collective, who is not, I haven't seen in the chat today yet. That was who I had thanked her, because that was who had inspired me to start streaming. She's been hanging out, and she promised to be my troll, break me in, which was hilarious. But yeah, I was looking back at one. I mean, gosh, I was looking back at some of the older videos the other day, and I was just like, cringe. I gotta remember my ghost was right here, because I absolutely can't see it anymore once I've painted over it with that. I love using the Lunar Black because it just gives you such great texture. And doesn't that texture just look like the moon is glowing, like certain parts just lighting up? I like it. And my paper is like, it's still damp, but it is drying. Not as fast. I will say this. Not as fast. I gotta paint right through my little ghosty here. Not as fast as the bee watercolor paper does. Oh my goodness. That dries ridiculously fast. I'm just gonna wet some of this down again. There we go. Ooh. I'm just going to move this out of my way for a moment. So I am painting around these just so that I can see where I had my tombstones, because my ghost disappeared, but I had to paint over that because that has to be, you have to have the background. All right. Now I have not forgotten that I said I'm going to show you how I put highlights in here. My brush is still a bit wet because I'm getting more diluted color, not. And of course, the paper's really wet too right here now. I'm gonna have to mix up all new color for down here, but that will be our darkest. Not our darkest values. That's going to be our trees, and this guy will be our darkest value. It is closest. It's the absolute closest to us. I just painted over my tombstone, which I didn't want to do. I can still see it at the bottom. I was not paying attention. I've run out. Run out of my color. That's all right. It's just a little bit of yellow blue, quite a bit of Lunar Black. Close enough. That tree's going to be there anyways, so we don't need to worry about it. It's definitely darker than what's behind it, so you know what's further in the distance. Okay, let's pull out. You already can see some, like, we have some through here. Normally I would pull the highlights out. I think because I'm not liking some of this splotchiness, I'm going to just throw in some more dark. Again, I'm painting over where that tombstone goes. I don't need to do that. Get some shadow in there. Throw a bit more shadow in here. If this just, dissipates, I can do it again. And I want to look at like where my, right to my moon. Anything I want to shadow behind, it's like from my moon. Some of these need some shadows too, but I can go back and add that. So like from my moon, it's going to be way this way. So it's going to like point off this way. And that's going to look more natural. So just always to your light source, which way your shadow is going to come off. Okay. I'm going to let that kind of dry and do its thing. Actually, I'm going to hit it with the dryer one more time so that I can get these tombstones in. And we need to paint, oh, our little ghost is right here. I can't see him anymore, but he was right there. And I can't forget that one is part of this. So I'm going to paint it darker, but it's going to get even darker when I get to here because that's on this level. One more time. We will mute you. Okay. Let's see. Let's get, to darken this up a little bit. So just grabbing some more the lunar black. It's not going to be straight black yet, but I want it darker than these were. So it's definitely diluted in a wash. Again, don't want too much on my brush. Might need to be a little bit darker. So I may have to come back in with another layer. I am really looking forward to, I have to finish it. I've almost got it all drawn out. Oh, wrong one. My Halloween scene. I almost have it all done. That's what I'll be working on probably tomorrow morning while the live chat that's on Discord is going on. Again, community members and above have access to my Discord, whether that be on YouTube membership or Patreon. That's a lot of fun. I love Friday chats. We do it every Friday. But I'll probably be working on finishing that up during that chat. Oh, great question. So Rob asked, how do you decide how much more pigment for the tonal values as you move towards the foreground? I'm going to have to mix up some more pigment here. So I will show you exactly how I do it. And hopefully it'll click and you just be like, oh, okay. It's really not too difficult. And I say that, like, I say it's not too difficult. It's not too difficult for me now. However, I remember when I was just starting my watercolor journey, I was like, how in the heck? Like, okay, these watercolor artists talk about, their paint is like, it's like tea, or it's like milk, or it's like cream, or it's like, whatever. Yeah. Now I just, like, one of the ways I do it for like working and getting darker, like here I just painted on this was a couple layers of that pigment. Now I want the edge to be lighter, so I'm just going to do one layer. So of course we can layer up our watercolor. It will continue to get darker. I don't mind if a little bit of white is showing through. It's just going to look more like stone. So if I get a little bit of dry texture, that's fine. But I will show you the answer to your question here. Ooh, you're working in charcoal tomorrow. I can't wait to see. I'm going to do this, this is not going to be dark enough yet. I'm going to have to add another layer to it. It's just that I lost this tombstone and I want it to be in there. So it may just be that for now. At least I know I'm remembering where it is. We've got another one over here. My brush is getting really dry. I just touched the very tip of it in. I did not need the belly of this brush to suck up all the water. And I'm going to need to do shadows for these. I need to do shadows for these too, but that might be a good way to show you the answer to your question, Rob. Okay. So I need to do the shadows for some of these. How do I dealing with the pigment and its values? So if I start off, and here I just have, if you guys can see here, I just have water, right? So I've put just a little bit of water and I used what's supposed to be my clean water. It's kind of dirty there. So you can see I just have water. If I take my brush one time, I just swirled it in that lunar black and I swirl it in here, right? That you see compared to that, this is a bit darker. If I go across my palette, I can usually see like how dark that's going to be. I'm going to put just a little bit more water with that. So now I have this value. I'm going to take that value. This brush is too big. I'm going to do the shadows for these back here. So my brush is wet. I'm just going to, it had dried. So dabbing it off. Now I can, because my brush is dry, I'm not going to add more water to what I'm picking up. I'm just going to pick up the color I've mixed. And again, if I look at, here's my light source, I want this one to have a little bit of shadow that goes this way on the ground, right? If I go this one, it's kind of turned a little bit. So there's going to be a little bit of shadow like this. Now, if that's too close to the original color, I can just dab and lift, and now that's going to be lighter. Because again, further in distance, I'm not going to see everything. So if you question, just grab something and put it on your light source and point to the object you're doing. Shows you which way that shadow needs to go, right? As things turn, that shadow kind of moves. Again, you want to shift, right? This one, it's almost like it's barely there. This one is going to be at a completely different angle because it's, from our perspective, it's at a different angle to the moon. Now we have shadows, and I forgot this guy. This guy's going to get a big shadow. It's going to go all the way, like you're not going to see it. It's going to disappear into the hill. We have a little ghosty there too. So there you go. Now they have shadows. Now, to answer your question, that value did those shadows, but I need it to be a darker value to do this. So I'm just going to, without adding more water to this, I'm going to come in here and grab more pigment and add that in, right? This is still very liquid, but now that is going to be a darker value. So now I'm getting that value, you know, another step darker. For this, I would just, without adding more water, I would add more pigment. So each time I'm adding a little bit more pigment, less water. I hope that answers it. Okay, so now again, when I come to these, right, I want my shadow. And if that seems too dark to you, just dab it with your paper towel. There we go. Again, and this one is a leaner, really dark in there, and then I'm going to let it kind of, right, blend out. If it's too dark, just dab it. See, now it fades out. Hopefully now we're starting to get some light happening in our painting. Right? My brush is pointing the direction that shadow needs to go. There we go. Easy. Well, hopefully it's easy. It's a lot easier for me now, I will say. But there are so many tips that I have picked up along the way that I love sharing with you guys. In fact, I've started a series for patrons, for creator members and above. I am working on the next video in that series now. And it's different tips and techniques. Right now we are working with water media. So yeah, you should be watching for that next video. That is on my list to get filmed and out to you guys, hopefully next week. All right, we have a ghost up here. He's kind of disappeared, but he was there. So we are going to, I'm just grabbing, I had the water in there with that white gouache. And he was here. We're gonna put him back. You see, this is very bright. Don't be afraid of it. Okay. Because we're gonna paint that in. And we need him to be transparent. Going over this, like the more strokes I do, the more I'm going to activate and pull that back color in. I don't mind at this point because I don't want him to be the brightest white. I'm going to touch him, lift, and he'll start to become more transparent. See, I can start to see that color through. So we absolutely, like, I'm going to just kind of leave him there. Kind of like him that way. There we go. We're going to come back and do eyes. I really like how it looks like darker right there. You can really see through. But that's like the easiest way to paint little ghosts in your background. This guy's going to be pretty neat. Like, you watch, if you saw the video of this one, I put three times I painted that one and like dabbed it off. It was sped up, which is why I thought, you know, I think I'm going to share that technique in today's painting. And I think we're really going to see this start to light up in this last layer. When we do this our foreground here, we are really going to see the glow and the illumination from that moon start to come into play. So this is where, hope your flight's not over yet, Rob, because this is where the magic's going to start happening. All right. Let's see. How about you guys if you can still see that, we may switch to this one for just a little bit. Oh, I'm going to have to zoom that out because we must have been zoomed in before for some reason. There we go. Okay. I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to start to really illuminate. I got to get that gouache out of my brush before I put it somewhere I don't need it. Okay. And then if I need something more opaque to cover any of this, because I don't want to see through, because watercolors are transparent. If I keep layering it up, I might be able to see through some of this, and I don't want to. So you may see me grab gouache for my trees and this monument. I'm not positive yet, but I will let you know. If you see me grab over here, that's my Holbein gouache. And anything up here is my Daniel Smith palette. Okay. With the exception, I have some colors down here that are Daniel Smith, but we're not using those colors today. All right, we need our ground to be a little darker. And I'm so sad because I know I'm gonna lose like all the sketching out I did of how I want this little ghost to go. But I think it'll be fine. We have one tombstone here, we have the big tombstone there, and there's not a lot on this level because we're a lot closer. So, things are getting more like spread out as we come closer. Whereas back here, they're small and closer together. All right. Our ground needs to be a little darker. So this is where I had my ground color. So again, Rob, this comes into play with your question. My ground color had a little bit of phthalo blue. So just going to mix it here so that I can see like how close was I. And it had the lunar black. That is really dark. But see how it's really blue still versus this? It's going to need some more black. And we're going to need some water. And now I'm definitely darker here than I was here. Okay. Hopefully that is enough, but I have to paint this whole foreground. I have a feeling the way that I deal with my color is not going to be, so I'm just mixing up a bit more. And this can't be my darkest value yet. And we're definitely going for that kind of monochromatic. It's nighttime. We just want that like blue glow. Not enough. Get some more, grabbing some more of my, this is actually, I reached into my neutral tint. Guys, I said lunar black. That's over here. I've been reaching into my neutral tint. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of the lunar black. It'll help. All right, so this is a darker value, but it's still definitely not going to be my darkest value. And right now, this is pretty thick, and it's just water, a lot of pigment. I am going to rinse my brush out, and I'm going to wet my foreground here. I am going to avoid the things that I'm painting forward because I want to maintain, I want to see them. That was just looking at like shadows for me, making a reminder. So my clean-ish water. My tree goes back there. I can't wait till we put in the trees. They're just going to start making everything pop. It's going to push everything else back further. This is like one of my favorite parts. Because I always have to tell myself, like, stop focusing on your background because it's the background. I don't know about you guys. I do it a lot. I just put it every part of the painting, like it gets so much attention and focus, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. So this guy here, it's gonna be hard because it's gonna try to paint in over him, and I don't want to lose my little guy here. I know it's gonna disappear on me. I should have like darkened my line work up before I went into this painting this, because he's just going to disappear. I should have grabbed the foreground. This is much larger. I should have grabbed my wash. It definitely helps you get more water down faster. And here is reminding me my shadow's gonna come right through behind the tree over here. I've got a little when I sketched it, little pencil marks. All right. And this paper is thirsty. It's just going to suck that water right in. And I do have to go over him because we have to be able to see through him. We're going to want that background color to be there. All right, here we go with our paint mixture. And see, it is another value darker. And this is definitely going to be granulating because the lunar black is in there, that PBK 11. I definitely am not going to mind if I have areas, you know, with lighter streaks like this. It's just going to look like highlights from the moon on the ground. So don't worry if it doesn't come out perfectly even. And yes, I know I'm like painting around my ghost, and I'm hoping that that's going to give me a little shift in value here so that when I come back, I'm going to know that's where he goes. This might bleed into the tombstone. I mean, it's a tall one, but that's okay because we're going to paint that much darker over top. Almost grabbed the wrong paint. And I'm working horizontally. Because, you know, it's the ground. I want it to go this way. Tara, yeah, you haven't tried one yet? What flavor? I sent Tara some, it's hilarious. I have to share with everybody, Tara. There we go. I can't believe that the whole thing just popped off on you. What flavor? What color was the wrapper? All of us here in the States who grew up with Tootsie Pops are definitely going to know what flavor you get by the color of its wrapper. All right, my paper's drying a bit. Who remembers the commercials with Mr. Owl? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? Well, if it didn't fall off the stick, we could ask Tara to try to tell us. Yeah, I had sent a little fun package to Tara with some things to try because, you know, it's very hard for her. Oh, that's my favorite. The brown one is my favorite. That is like the chocolate. Yeah, I like that one. I like grape, the purpley blue colored wrapper. Those are my two favorite Tootsie Pops. Yeah, this was just, it was just dried. You know, I just put too much water down there. We're going to dab some of that up. There we go. It was too much water on my brush when I went in. All right. Let's keep going. And before I gave up sugar, those are still like this time of year. I always buy Tootsie Pops, and that's like part of when I make up goodie bags for the trick-or-treaters. Oh, see, she says saving the cherry one for last. I'm not a fan of cherry flavor. I love cherries, like the real deal cherries. But I am not a fan of cherry flavored pretty much anything. I'm like, I love strawberries, but strawberry flavor, I mean, it's all right. Again, I'm not worried if I have lighter areas or darker areas. Oh, as long as my brush strokes are going from left to right, it's just going to look like the moon glowing on the ground. This kind of is looking like water to me at the moment. Move that out of my way again. And I haven't forgotten my ghost. Again, I'm just hoping that like that dry time, that edge, I'm going to get a little bit of an edge that's going to help me in this case because I'm going to put white on top, but just help me not lose the shape of where I originally wanted my little ghost to be. Oh, all right. We'll see you later. Safe landing, Rob. All right, now I'm going to dampen where my ghost was once more. Almost like, oh, and his little eyes. I'm like, I fussed over those eyes. I had them all like just a certain shape. And you notice I went the other way. And that's fine. That is perfectly fine. I didn't actually want to go over the top, but it's all right. Right, because when I paint white, it's going to come over top of this anyway, so that won't matter. But again, you'll see how this might just help me maintain like where his shape was. And I know I'm going to paint these eyes in darker, so I'm just giving myself the ability to see where they were. It's still going to be fine. And I know that this is going to have a lot more shadow this way. Again, looking at my moon, right? And the tree is going to have more. It's going to be darker. And I can darken that up too if I have to. Even more. See, I knew I was going to need more color. Whoa, wrong one. This, which is right in front, I'm kind of come this way. This is going to be much darker. My palette is drying. I need a little bit more water in here. There we go. that was actually from this color. But that's okay, because we're doing shadows. I don't necessarily want a hard line at the edge of the shadow. So just kind of tapping my edges, soften them up. It was really looking a lot like water to me. My brush is dry. My paint is almost dry. And each time I dip my brush in that water and come back over here, I know that I'm only diluting it, but because I'm layering it up, I'm just hoping it won't matter. There we go. Really use that up. Thank you. Okay, once again, I need to dry this, but I think this needs to be a little bit darker to start. Hi, Cat's Art Picks. I was just talking about you earlier. Only good stuff. I was saying how it was you that inspired me to create the benefit for studio members that we're doing tomorrow, the live studio hangouts on Zoom. It's in a conversation we had at one point in time where you had mentioned it would be so much fun to be able to hang out live and interact where we could all see what each other was working on. And that's what we do in the studio membership. Once a month. And we have a ton of fun. Okay. All right. Yes, I know I left his eyes open just so I can remember where they were. And you see how we've got like this edge? It's going to be fine, I promise. I just wanted to make sure I knew where he was. All right, this is where it's really gonna, I keep saying this is where it's gonna start happening. But this is where it's gonna start happening. I'm muting you one more time. We got to get this dry so we can add in our final parts. Oh, that is excellent. I am glad to hear it. Oh, I hope you're enjoying it. I absolutely love watercolor. I was so intimidated. Was so intimidated by watercolor before. Now I am like so glad. So glad that I just dove in. Um okay. We've got to do our trees. This stone, and then we have to paint in our ghosts and of course adjust any shadows. So I'm going to start with our tombstone here. And this was our color before. So again, I have my size 8 round from Silver Black Velvet. Now this is what we used before. We need to make that darker. So coming into the neutral tint, and this time we're going to use a lot more pigment. Not as much as we're going to use here, but I've darkened it up a bit because I'm going to do this one, and then this one's going to be even darker. Oh, that is excellent. I love it. That's what we did in this one. This whole project has been layer after layer, working from the back to the front. And you see that is that's a bit too dark. So I'm just dabbing the tip of my brush in some water. I'm not going to grab more pigment, and we're just going to kind of spread this around. There's a lot of water with this right now. There's a lot of water. And all I have to do is put the belly of my brush on that paper towel, and it will pull a lot of that water out. And then I can just work with what I have here. Because I know I have more than enough pigment to put this down. And I'm going to want my tree to actually be a little bit darker than this. So I didn't want that to be too dark. Should have started at the bottom and worked my way up. And we will pull out a highlight across the top, down that side, and we'll just deposit the color down here. And I'm not too worried because there's going to be a shadow down here. I just don't want it to be. There we go. So now, again, the way I did that with the highlight, right? Dry brush. And I'm just going to pull across the top, down the side. When we lift our brush, it'll deposit any color. Like if I had more color in my brush still, it would have deposited it right down here. And I think I'm going to end up having to put another layer, which is fine. I'll just leave this, let it dry a bit, and come back. There we go. Before I leave it to dry though, I would also need a little highlight on that part. Just lifting that out right there. Okay. Let's work on this tree because that's going to really start to push stuff backwards. So for the tree, let me see. I'm still sticking with this whole same of the, the working up the blues and into the black. Like this is going to be very dark because it's right in front of us. And that's when I put that dark here, that moon is really going to start to glow. I cannot wait to get to that one. All right, so I have a little bit of my phthalo blue. Same as I did for the ground here, but I'm just going to go, I think I'm just going to dive right into my lunar black, which again, if you have phthalo blue and lunar black or Mars black, PBK11, that is the two pigments that make up lunar black. And grabbing a little bit of neutral tint here. There we go. I'm going to want this to be quite darker than here because this is going to do my tree. What time do we got? We're gonna cut it close. We might go over just a little bit beyond 5, but we are definitely going to get this finished. The end it'll come. It's gonna come together fast. I keep saying, I've been saying that for a half an hour. It really does though. Okay, so again, I'm still using my size 8 silver black velvet. And I'm just going to paint in my tree. Now I can take, like once I get this, I'll just show you. I'll get the bottom painted in. I'm going to want to anchor this tree into the ground. I kind of got a little wide on that right there. I just made my tree a little wider, which happens a lot. I don't know about you guys, but like all of my best intentions for what size my tree is going to be, they always grow. Oh my gosh, speaking of trees, my painting that I designed for the Halloween special that I'll be working on tomorrow during the studio hangout, that I put a couple stands of trees in that, and I was just like, I was showing Lou last night. I was like, oh my gosh, I love these in pencil. I'm like, hopefully I convey it really well when I paint it. I haven't decided. All I'm doing is wetting the area below because I just want this tree, right, to anchor into the ground, just like that. I was like, hopefully I can convey well when I'm just going to, when I paint it versus it being in pencil. So I'm just going to keep using my size 8 round silver black velvet, guys. This brush holds a point. Like you're going to see, I can do the big base of the tree right up into those fine branches. I love this brush. I can still see some of them drawn out. Oh, I love painting trees. I used to hate it. I was so intimidated by the trees, and now like I could just sit there and it's relaxing. Like painting the trees is just relaxing. You just have to be one with the tree. You have to let it grow the way it wants to grow. And you'll see a lot of times, like when I branch out like this, like obviously that looks weird coming off this tree, but I assure you it won't. Like it won't. Just you got to trust the process. But I'll get all the way out to the edge. So all the way to the end of my branch. And then I will work my way backwards again. I'll work my way back because that branch has to get thicker as it returns, where it returns to the tree. So as it comes back, oh, I got one coming off this way. Right. Oh, I love doing the tree part. I'll try not to get lost and not talk. Oh, I have a branch coming off here. I'm not worried if I get a little into that monument because it's not gonna, I say monument, it's, a grave marker. That moon is getting a lot brighter. I like it. I like it. I always forget, like when I do this lean in, like I'm coming like way close to you guys. Sorry. What was it Joseph said on his video on Monday? Like big head. It's like, whoa, we don't need that much forehead. Anyways, craziness. Come up. My brush just kind of bounced in a weird way. It's all right. Just take that and there's another branch. Thicken that one up a little bit. And there we go. Just remember, like, how, if you think about a tree in real life, like, how long is that branch? What is that going to need to support it to get it out that way? I'm sorry. I know I got quiet. Just trying to get this one moved quickly. Because I definitely can get lost. I can definitely get lost painting trees, and they will take up some, it would take up some time because I just kind of zone out and start putting in branches. I'm just adding some darker small ones here. Right? So we just have different values. You guys probably can't see that. My hand was covering it. Sorry. I think that we're just going to let it be for now, although it's a little, let's give this one a little more weight. Let us thicken that up down. Right, our tree wouldn't just get as skinny as that was all of a sudden. It's a leaner, but you know, it's fine. Maybe there were a few harsh winters here and it kind of bent it as it was growing. I don't know. All right, I'm going to do this one the same way. This one kind of spreads itself out a little further. All right, let's see if we can do this one quickly. I'm going to turn this sideways for now, just so I can, just for a minute. Sorry if that bothers you. I just want to try to paint it in quickly. So again, I'm going to get the base of my tree in first. I'm probably going to need to mix up some more pigment for that. Right. And then I'm going to take my other brush. I just want it damp. And I'm going to blend that out. There we go. All right, turning back again for a moment. I am going to mix up some more. So I have to be able to get through all of this tree. I think I need to add more neutral tint to my palette. And there we go. Good enough. My brush just wasn't wet enough. It was not flowing so well. This is quite blue. As that, like, yeah, I'm seeing way too much of that phthalo way too much phthalo coming through. Oh my gosh. That cracks me up. Oh, I missed Cat's Art Picks when she said she was going. Bye. Hope you get rest. All right, there we go. Hopefully that's a little less on that blue. Because this one I did a little differently. It goes off like this. And like, it's hard to see. I lost so much of my line work off like this. It's kind of in a Y. Why? I don't know. It just grew that way. Sorry. It was punny. Couldn't help myself. Oh, you can't crack yourself up, guys. Okay. So just working my main branches first. This time, all the way back. Don't worry if they get a little wonky. All right, this one is, we're gonna work it like that. Here. This guy grows off this way. Well, see, I have a Y, but I also have the tree going up, straight up. I do have the tree going straight up. He's not just in a Y. I can see him. He's under there. But I don't want to lose track of the one that I have coming in front because I really like the way that branch goes. So I don't usually paint around branches, but I am going to paint around this one. Just because I don't want to lose it. Here we go. All right, you can say that looks a little bit more. That looks a little bit more realistic, right? Sure. Okay, let's work. I'm right-handed, so why not work from this side to that side? It makes perfect sense. Or not. You're just gonna see me kind of pull my branches backwards to the tree, which is a little different than how I normally do it, but I can actually see these kind of through the, I know I'm like leaning into you guys here. Sorry, I'm leaning into the camera. Let's go full screen. Boom. Okay. It's because I'm trying to hurry. Anytime one of my branches does a little wonky jump with the brush, it just tells me that's where another branch is growing out. This one goes down here. It ties into this guy. Like so. There we go. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna work the branch that comes over here that I didn't want to lose. And which one goes in front of which one? I don't know. You decide. It's one of those that you're not gonna, we don't have all the different values to see. Remember, it's supposed to be nighttime. I'm gonna grab a little bit. Oh, that's just dried right on my palette. There we go. I just want a little bit of that dark because when I come in front of this tree, I want that darker value. So that it shows up that it's a branch. Now, it's just switching back to the color I was using. Out of that guy. There's one back here. I actually want that a little bit diluted. Right, and it's okay, it'll just look like the It'll just look like the moon is highlighting it. Like it's further away. It's on that back side of the tree and it's definitely going out that way. And because these are wet and wet, like some of this is going to blend. Like if I go over this now, some of that would bleed into that branch and blend. It doesn't matter. It would be fine. If you don't want it to blend like that, just wait a moment or two. Let the paper dry a little bit. I made a weird bump, so we're just gonna go with it. It's the edge of the paper right there where the glue is. And that branch was a little thin, so I'm thicken it up a little bit. There we go. All right, I've almost got all the branches I can see painted in. See, that's going to bleed. I may need to come back to that, but I'll worry about it later. Because it's just wanting to bleed out a little bit more than I want. But there we go. Ooh, look at that. Now, we got to get this done in. We have to do our shadow there. I am going to, now that this is definitely dry, I need to get this part of my palette wet again. You guys can't see what I'm talking about. That right there. And we need to darken this guy up just a bit. I said just a bit, and that looks like just a lot. And there we go. That was just dipping the tip of my brush into my water. Still definitely want it to be, you know, different values, so there's a separation with the tree. There we are. He needs a shadow. Let's put that in. So again, from our moon, we're gonna have some not drip water. I don't know what, oh, this brush had water. Too much water. I had water on the ferrule. That can cause all kinds of problems. So we're gonna get a little bit here. I'm barely touching my paper. And again, it's gonna point over about like this. And at the edge of that, it certainly wouldn't be a hard line. So I can take my damp brush and just kind of soften into that edge. Okay. And just down. There we go. I need to put any more down. All right, I'll let that dry and see how it does. Some more shadow from my tree. I'm gonna need some more shadow with this tree for sure. Just wetting a little bit beyond the tree, or beyond where I want the shadow to be, because again, I'm just going to come and drop in my shadow, and I want it to give me a nice soft edge. I wiped like most of the water out of my brush. There we go. All right, we have 2 parts. Guys, I apologize. Trees took longer than I expected. So we're certainly going beyond 5. I like to be done by 5 o'clock. Try to be conscious of your time. If you're still here hanging out with me, thank you so much. If you're watching this on the replay, thanks for spending your time with me. I'm just darkening up my trunk. Oh my goodness, my stomach's grumbling. Hopefully the microphone doesn't pick that kind of stuff up. There we go. All right. Time to do our monument. Now this is going to be our darkest value. So I am coming straight into my neutral tint. I'm going to save some of this right here to do the eyes on my ghosts that are back there. Got to give them eyes. So there's my neutral tint. And thank you. I hope so. I'm like, I know that as soon as I paint this in, that moon should really start to glow. That's going to really darken up this foreground. So grabbing my lunar black, again, if you don't use Daniel Smith, this would be the equivalent of like a Mars black. It's PBK 11. Okay, so my neutral tint and my Mars black. Let's paint this in. Here we go. This is not going on wet and wet. I am painting this wet on dry. This is going to be very dark because it is directly in front of the moon. And again, this is why when I said if some of the branches like went into the monument, it wasn't going to matter. You wouldn't see them. I'm finding that a couple I'm having to just kind of touch to it. And then hopefully this will be dark enough that I won't see the layers behind. If I could, I would just grab gouache and go over it again with like the Holbein black. I'm pretty sure it's just black that I have right here, which is the yeah, GG606, which is ivory black. And ivory black is PBK6. I love PBK 11 because it granulates. It granulates so beautifully. I am trying really hard. My line just went a little wonky there. Trying really hard to get a straight line, and it's like, I know it's because there's not enough water in my brush. So my paint is not flowing like I want it to. There we go. Oh, I just like completely rogue brushstroke. Definitely the one thing I like about this paper. It is certainly easy to, I'm going to let that dry for a moment because I don't want it to bleed back into the area if it's still damp where I just lifted it. I was just going too fast near the edge. It's like the paper is just dry, so it's sucking every bit of moisture out of my brush and it's not flowing. See, I never mix up enough. Rarely do I go, wow, I mixed way too much of that color. Rare. Like my stomach is grumbling, reminding me we are trying a new recipe tonight for a white pizza. And of course, I am very low carb. I try not to have more than 30 carbs in a day. Ever since I gave up the sugar and gave up the carbohydrates, like my body just feels so much better. My fibromyalgia symptoms have like they're still, I mean, they're still there. The pain is still there, but it is nowhere near what it used to be. Which is good because going into this time of year, oh my gosh, I was just telling Lou, I was like, it is the beginning of this month. Like we got sick. It was October 2nd last year. And it was just horrible. Knocked me down for 7 months. I just lost my paper towel. I have been so, oh, you want to talk anxiety? I've been like so much anxiety worrying about getting sick again. Because it is still out there. It is definitely having itself a little flare up of its own. Because cold and flu season, of course it's going to. I told her, I was like, please just can't get sick. I've got him like, because I don't leave the house, you know, obviously not for work. I don't go unless I have doctor's appointments or things like that. I just don't. It's 7 months. It's just not worth it to me. If that's the price I have to pay if I get sick. And then it left me with the asthma and everything else. I was like, no, it's just not worth it. So I've been telling Lou, I'm like, you need to boost your vitamin D intake and you need to, I've got him doing all kinds of stuff. I'm like, you cannot get sick and bring it home. Oh, look at that. It's like so bright back there now. I love it. We're almost done. I just have areas that were lighter. Just trying to make sure it's all dark all the way. So anyways, we have a new recipe tonight for a white pizza. And I have a very low carb pizza crust I'm trying. Sometimes I just use like a fathead dough. But it doesn't have any red sauce on it. It calls for ricotta cheese. I thought it was interesting. And onion and pepperoni and mushroom. Some of my favorite things on pizza. Although I love just plain cheese pizza. I think I'd probably be in trouble if I lived near a city where I could actually get a real decent pizza. It'd be very hard. It'd be very hard to stay low carbs then. Because I love pizza. It's definitely a weakness. Yeah, see, I don't do cashews because cashews, as far as like if you consider almonds, pistachios, cashews would be the worst of those three as far as my diet's concerned. Not that cashews are bad in any way. But yeah, I eat a lot of almonds. I love almonds, pistachios. I love pistachios. And I've always been like, I mean, I love my chocolate, but I've always like salt. That with the salty stuff was the harder thing for me to give up. Just darkening my shadow behind that. Hey, hi Python, welcome. Glad to see you over. All right. All right, let's get, there it is. So let's get the eyes in on our ghosts that are in the background so that water's really dirty. Like that didn't even come clean. I need the paint butt. Get the brush clean. It's cleanish. That's fine too. All right, let's get some of this lighter color I said I was saving right there. And now we are going to just pop some, hopefully I won't touch my little onion here. We're going to pop some eyes in, dab them out. Pop the eyes in, dab them out. This little guy over here, right? Mixing a little bit of this darker color in. This guy. There we go. Oh, excellent. All right, we just have to paint our last ghost. Thank you. We have Python, who is brand new to the stream with us. First time chatting today. Is this your first time joining? We're glad that you're here. I see Python over on Discord, on one of the Discord servers I'm in. I see my watch. The bats come flying out. Even my watch is Halloween. I love spooky season. I just want to darken right here up because, you know, it would be casting a shadow on that part too. So I want to get that a little bit darker. My goodness, my stomach just like won't stop grumbling. And this seems to be a little bit darker. Our shadow is just not quite. Yeah, we were wet and kind of dissipated. Not liking the edge. Yeah, we'll just deal with it. It is what it is. There we go. Good enough. Okay. All right, let's do our ghost. And I'm going to grab another brush. I'm just going to grab my size 10 round on my Mimic. And I'm actually going to swap out some water here. I've got a nice clean paint puck behind me because I want to make sure that my white stays white. All right, you ready? Let's make the magic. I need to put a little bit more. So we're going to have to do a couple layers. So I've got my paper towel ready. We are going to paint in the shape of our ghost. Again, this is with the gouache. I am going around the eyes, but again, just because I want to remember right where I had them. You can see already, like, I'm seeing some of the undercolor. The more I brush over it, the more I'm going to activate what's under that and pull that in. And he's already going to have some transparent look to him, but I'm just going to dab over him. That's because I don't want to let it dry too much. We'll keep going. He's a much bigger ghost than the one I did the other day. Okay, we just dab him out. You might think like, well, why dab him out? It just helps keep him transparent. I'm just thinking, you know, this is like the little ethereal mist, like traveling behind him, right? Where he's coming from. And you see, I can see the line through. That's what we want. And you get that by dabbing it out. I can still build up some of this value, but I definitely want him to feel like we can see through him. I'm just going to dab a little bit more. Okay, press straight down and lift straight up. And I'm going to go for one more go round. This is very, you can see it's very, very thin, very liquid. A lot more water than gouache. So it's still going to activate what's below. The paper's damp, so it's just kind of moving out on its own as well. And I'm kind of trying because I want to keep this paper towel like within my little ghost. There we go. I'm seeing, I can still see that line back there. So it's still coming through. And it's brighter here, and that's fine. Our moon is on that side. Like I'm not getting anything here. There we go. And I don't know why I'm painting them all like they're like little sheets, like they're all wearing little sheets. Just softening where that part ends. Oh my goodness, look at him. Too cute. All right, let's put some eyes on him, sign this, and we are done. This is leaching up because when I wet this, so I'm gonna go back over just the bottom of this real quick with my lunar black. Darken that back up. Oh no, Python, that's terrible. Oh. So your little younger you was a ghost who was white and red. I'm just taking some of this black paint that's like still in the brush, and anywhere that I'm seeing, you know, there were streaks, just going over it so that it's nice and dark. Look at that moon just glowing back there. All right, I need to switch to a smaller brush, and I'm going to dry this real fast because I don't want his eyes to bleed. Let me mute you real quick. And I'm noticing like our little ghosts in the background are actually a brighter white than he is, but we can fix them. And you see when I dried, like all those little lines I had disappeared because it was very diluted watercolor. I'm just grabbing the number 6 round mimic and getting just my lunar black here. Let's do his eyes. The 6 round is the one that has a messed up point. I use my 6s a lot as my detail brushes just because between the silver black velvet and the mimics, they hold their point so well. I don't need a smaller brush. However, this one and my silver black velvet now, unfortunately, like I was telling you guys earlier. I damaged the points, so I'm gonna have to order some new ones. There's one little eye. So like I'll see the point and I will go to, you know, make my mark, and then because the tip is just ticked weird, it doesn't exactly put that mark where I wanted it. He's a happy little ghost. He definitely is. All right. I was just thinking, he can't be completely, like, one behind can't be brighter than he is. He is in our foreground. So we're just going to add a little bit. I'm just kind of blending because I just trying to take out like some of those just harsh lines and soften them up a little bit more. There we go. I think he's fine. What do you guys think? Look at him. Our little ghost. He's just too cute. I love the depth we got there. I like how bright that is. We could have even had this part of the sky darker, and our moon would have shown much brighter. Like if this was even darker here, this being, all these being the same, but if the rest of that was darker, I think it would have been perfect. But hey, it's a full moon, right? It's a full moon out. I love how we got that nice soft edge around the moon. So if you missed that, you can check the beginning, see it on the replay. I think I'm going to sign it in white for right about here. And do I have my white one? No, this one's already started. I am liking these. They're not linked in the description, but I certainly can. The Brisk Learner white gel pens. I tried these and I'm really liking them. So let's just go ahead and sign this. I said I'm liking them as it doesn't want to, as it's not wanting to write for me. There it goes. It's like if you press too hard, they don't want to do it. And I could have signed it just in white gouache, but there we go. All right. So thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh, if you are still here hanging out, I am so glad that you did. Okay. Do all the things, like, subscribe, ring the bell if you want to be notified later. Thank you very much to patrons and members. If you're not a member yet, click join below. I'm going to have brand new emotes for you for next week for all of the super fans. I'm going to pop another video up right about there that you might like to watch next. Huge thank you to my moderators, Tara and Joseph. Thanks a bunch. Links to their channels are in the description, so do check them out. Yeah, Joseph live streams every Monday, same time as me, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I see you guys over there on Mondays. So I hope you'll join us next Monday. But for now, oh my gosh, look at him. Like, I'm like, boop, there it goes. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. Thank you guys so much. I will see you again next week. If you are a studio member or above, I'm going to see you tomorrow. You're going to have the sneak peek of me filming and creating the Halloween special. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Live chat with patrons tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. And have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me. I think that's all the things. See you guys next time. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.